All right, man. We're rolling. We're just going to jump into it.
Nice.
Let it rip.
We're just going to wing this one, guys.
It's going to be a whole lot of winging in the beginning, I think.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Don't know what we're going to talk about. How you been, Chris?
Not too bad. Trying to make money.
Yeah.
Weather's better. Can't hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's, 60 degrees, middle of February?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Good thing you got into snow removal. Good thing I didn't buy a plow this year.
Yeah. Fuck me, right? I was trying to sell 2 plow trucks since September. Nobody bought them.
So then you kept them. Got more work.
Yeah, we just went to a pre-bid yesterday for fucking snow for next year.
Yeah. And that was, I just made the YouTube video titled last week, "We're getting out of snow removal." And then he was like, "We're going to a snow removal bid."
Dude, this guy can't stay
I
consistent.
can't. That's bullshit.
You just see the dollar signs and you're like, and then you sit down and you're like, there's no money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, like this year, nobody made a dime on snow. So.
Dude, I bought 2 pallets of salt at the beginning of the year because Sneeze had a sale on it. And I was like, oh, I use it at my house. I use it around the lot. I haven't even opened a bag. So, losing money.
Losing money. That's pennies compared to what?
Oh, yeah.
Getting 5 fucking trucks together and shit.
No doubt. So I got questions we can jump right into for you guys. So I am not a business owner. Well, actually, I am technically for the government. I own a business, but
Yeah, but you just get paid because you got a fucking 8-pack and shit.
yeah, that's about it.
You just do like really hard fucking workouts and take your shirt off on TikTok.
I know that's literally it. But what's worse than that is I did all that shit for a year. I mean, we're going on almost 2 years now of killing myself in the gym. I didn't do it for clout when I started, and then I started getting paid for it, so it's been nice. But I did all that shit for 50,000 followers in 2 years. My daughter posts my wife posts 2 reels of my daughter, and she's got 200,000 followers in 3 months.
Yeah.
I'm like, what
Look
the
at all
fuck?
the followers Gene gets, and he's just a semi-overweight redneck that has horses.
Oh, bro. I mean, if there was a market for chubby white guys, like to do anything,
We'd be fucking killing it.
killing it right now.
Why do you think I'm riding his coattails?
But yeah, so my question for you guys is I've never had employees, and we were kind of talking briefly about it downstairs. But what is the hardest part about establishing that relationship as a boss and basically letting somebody go? Like, when does it become time for you guys? And I'll let you each individually answer it. But when does it come time for you guys to say, "Hey, shit ain't working out"?
Yeah, I mean, that was actually one of my notes on here just from when Gene and I talked last time is, like I run the company as it's a team or a family, depending on how you look at it. But, over the last year, it was like building my squad was the note that I made in here. And that's people from Gene, Danny Hayden that does all our plumbing, Matt Hayden, asphalt, like all the guys that are in the county that are our age or even people who have been around a while, just building that team that you want to be a part of, the Johnny Castillos of the world, all those guys. But yeah, like your internal team, like I treat it like family and I treat it like a team. And as far as like, when's the time to cut ties with somebody, in my head, it's like, just like a sports team. If you feel like somebody's not in on the culture of the team or the goals of the team and we're not all going the same direction, it's like, well, why are you here? And to me, it's like just that culture mindset of like, hey, we all win together, we all lose together, and you can't just be here for the wins. Like, you got to take the losses too, and if you can't take the losses, why am I paying you?
Right.
And sometimes it's tough, but, at the end of the day, you want to, just like back when you played football, basketball, whatever, when you're at the championship, the end of the season, you want to look around and be like, okay, everybody here worked as hard as me or harder to be here. You don't want to look around and be like, dang, I drug that guy along this whole way, and he gets the same medal I do. To me, it's just not fair. And it's like a cancer. If you don't stop it early enough, and Gene told me this a while ago, same with your guys. If you let them start slacking off or milking the clock and stuff like that, it's a cancer. Next thing you know, everybody's doing it. Everybody's coming in 5-10 minutes late. And
Yeah, I mean, a bad attitude is contagious, dude.
Yeah.
And I think, like, my response to that question would be, as a small business, everybody's got to pull their fucking weight. I mean, because you can't hide it. Like, if you're not pulling your own weight and you're not learning, it's like, dude, like, it's going to be very apparent very quickly. And, you know, and that's tough too as like the person that hires people, because you try to hire people and do like your due diligence to make sure that they have the skill set or the experience to do what you're going to ask them to do. And I get that there's going to be like some sort of fucking learning curve or whatever, but you can tell within the first couple of weeks whether or not they're catching on to it or not, you know? And it sucks when you make you hire somebody and then it's like they don't catch on and they're not getting along with other people and they're not, I guess, just fitting into the culture of the company, you know? Because then, I mean, you got to take some of that responsibility on yourself too. Like, but it's just a hard decision to make, you know? Like, well, I hired this person, it's not working out now. Because like Chris and I are both in a position where I do all the hiring and the firing. Like, I've never asked anybody else to fire another employee.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, look, that's on me as the owner.
Yeah, I never thought of it in terms of that. I've never hired somebody and I've never fired somebody. So it's like at the end of the day, it's kind of like, damn, I fucked that one up by hiring them. There's an internal way to look at it too. It's pretty crazy.
And now some people get fired because they deserve to be fucking fired.
Right.
But they know that that's coming.
Yeah.
You know, but then some people you hire to do a job and they might be trying, but they're just, it's not clicking and they're not being successful. And that's when it's like you got to look at yourself like, shit, maybe I messed up the interview process or maybe I hired the wrong person. And to me, that's the harder fire to make.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you have to terminate that person, it's like, well, shit, you're trying, but it ain't really working, dude. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Because I was going to say that's like one of the biggest things when we were talking about like points of like when it's time to fire somebody. One of the biggest things with you that I've noticed is like if you're putting effort out there and you're asking questions, which you answer all the questions I have all the time, all the questions the guys have. If you look like you give a shit and you're trying to give a shit, like I feel like you work with people for the most part. Like, I feel like you got to really not be trying or trying to get better every single day to get fired.
Correct. Yeah. Well, like you just got to show up and give an effort, and then make an effort to learn.
It takes zero skill to be on time. I mean, it's simple stuff. And I mean, even for we've been talking about termination and firing and stuff like that, but we've had a few people that were good people that left for their own reasons, and that's hard too. Like you're sitting there from a business owner perspective, you're like, man, I've invested time, money, equipment, and a personal perspective, like all of us have a heart, we care about most other people. And if I'm going to treat everybody like it's a team, like it's a family, you start caring about those people. And then somebody leaves you and it's like, damn, it's like, it's like you lost a brother, you lost a sister, and it's like, dang, it's a blow for a little bit, but you got to move on. You got to keep going. Well,
I think the advice I gave you a while ago, like if somebody's not a good fit though, like the worst thing you can do is let that shit drag out.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, fucking pull the Band-Aid off quick. Like you're gonna figure it out. Like either you promote from within, give somebody else more responsibility, an opportunity to make more money, or you take over responsibility until you find somebody else or whatever it is. But like if you're questioning whether or not somebody needs to be fired or not,
it's time.
The truth is they need to be fucking fired.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if that's even like a thought in the back of your head, you know what I'm saying?
And it's a thought at 3:00 in the morning when you're not sleeping, and it's it kills everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of like relationships. Like you see people go into bad relationships that are questioning it for years. You're like, motherfucker, you should have been out of that years ago.
Yeah.
Same kind of deal.
Yeah. It's like you dragged it out longer than it had to be.
Yeah. We all know guys that have done that. That's cool. I figured that'd probably be a pretty hard part as a small business, being like close to the people like you were saying that you work with and then having to let them go. Definitely a different process than just calling somebody in and being like, hey, bud, last day's Monday with a bigger company. You'll never see him again. So it's definitely different. The second question I have for you guys as business owners and kind of entrepreneurs is, I want to know the moment where you started this thing and you were like to Carly, or like, I don't know if this is going to fucking work. Like did you have an oh shit moment in there?
Yesterday.
Yes.
No, I mean, Gene and I talk all the time.
Still do it all the time, man.
I mean, Gene and I talked a couple weeks ago, and I don't remember what it was. It was something random we were talking on the phone about, and I had a terrible day. It was like, I don't remember what went wrong. I don't know if we lost money on a job. Somebody didn't show up. And I was just like, dude, when do you get to a point where you're like, all right, I'm good? And he's like, you don't? And I was like, all right, cool. And, I'll give Gene a lot of credit. Gene's been good to me. And, we haven't known each other all that long, but I consider us friends. And he called me a couple days later, and he's like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? And I was like, well, I don't know. I'll be around. He's like, well, I got to look at this. You guys are looking at some work in my neighborhood in Huntingtown. And he's like, well, why don't we go look at that job, and then let's go to lunch afterwards. And so we went to lunch, and he's like, hey, man, you good? Seemed a little out of it the other day. Is anything all right? Anything I can help you with? Which, was real cool, and I appreciate that. And to answer your question, I think that it's like every day, and I tell people all the time, in this world, it's like your highs are really high, your wins are big wins, and your losses are big losses. There's like no in between, and you have like 15 of each one of them every day. My guy's supposed to be at the shop at 7:15. At 7:15, I'm looking at my watch, and I'm like, damn, everybody's here. All right, cool. For me, that's a win.
Yeah.
For the rest of the world, they're like, okay, so 7 guys got here on time. Right. But to me, that's a big deal. Yeah. And, but 10 minutes later, a customer's calling, hey, you said they're going to be here at 8. At 10 minutes after 8, they're not here. And it's like, okay, it's just, you got to roll with the punches. And you hear a lot of guys say it on podcasts and all this kind of stuff. But it really is true. Like, you have to get very comfortable with being uncomfortable. And it's like, just like you working out. Obviously, I don't do Murph 365. I couldn't do a muscle up if you paid me $1 million. But you're growing. Like, with the pain of your muscles growing, I mean, you're growing, you're getting bigger, you're getting stronger, all that kind of stuff. It's the same with this. It's like, dude, I'll go home. Today so far has been a good day. Knock on wood. We're halfway through it. But, tonight I'll be going home, and it's like, okay, well, today sucked for X, Y, and Z. How can I be bigger, stronger, faster, and better tomorrow?
Yeah. And
how can the team do it with me, just like we were just talking about? I think, go ahead, Gene, whatever you got to say.
Yeah, man. I mean, it doesn't – I don't see it ever going away or not being difficult. I mean, maybe once you get to a certain size and you got like a whole shitload of management under – like that's managing everything, and you only see like this really big problems. But even then, you're still seeing problems.
Right.
Like if – and I don't even think that's just being as a business owner. I think that's just once you get to a certain position in management, it's like you just constantly have to deal with people problems. You got to make hard decisions, hiring and firing, and then I mean it's fucked up. But I think that's just part of being a grown up too, though, and having like grown up responsibilities. Like you have to be held accountable for the decisions that you make.
Yeah.
Well, I think people that are wired like us, like business owners, entrepreneurs, like we put ourselves in this situation because we wanted to be here. And I think just the way we're wired, we're going to continue to put ourselves in situations that aren't comfortable because it's like this is our comfort zone. As crazy and jacked up as it sounds, but like you look at somebody like Wayne, like dude, Wayne's got probably, I don't know, a few $1 million in the bank. He's got, 40 employees, a whole bunch of rental properties, all this kind of stuff. That he still grinds like us. He'll call me on a Saturday. Hey, man, I'm out here working. What are you doing? And that guy's, from our perspective, he's made it. He's got a house on the water down in Breton Bay.
Yeah, but still working hard.
Yeah, you have to.
But like the thing is, though, once you get into that position, it's in you and what you do to work like that.
Yeah.
Like you're not just going to fucking go home and not do shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're just going to continue doing that until one day you say, all right, man, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, you went to the gym every day for a year. Yeah. If you just stopped going to the gym cold turkey and we're like, I'm going to go to Krispy Kreme and crush a dozen donuts every day, you'd get to like Wednesday and be like, all right, bro, I got to go back to the gym. You're like fiending for it.
Yeah, it just becomes part of your daily routine, man.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And that's what I was going to say next. You both just kind of hit on it there, but like I think that you're wired that way. And I think in order to be successful in life, you have to be wired that way to want to be in those uncomfortable positions because you're not growing if you're not, right?
Yeah.
So it's every step, even though you're getting bigger and more comfortable, it seems like a bigger risk because you're jumping up to that next level, right? So I guess it's a continual thing until you retire.
And even then, I think it's still keep going. I always say I'm not going to retire. I'll have, industrial properties or rental properties or something that keeps my mind moving.
I will say I think the biggest thing though is the risk factor, right? Because I don't know your situation with Crownstone, but like when I went into business, I took out a small business loan, and then you buy shit, and then you just like fuck. I hope this shit works out I mean, so you're taking a risk. And then even after that, you pay that first business loan back, but then you take on debt to buy like your first dump truck or your first excavator. Or you're signing a personal guarantee on a $150,000 machine or whatever. You're like, man, I hope I get enough work to keep this fucking thing working. So it's just constantly putting yourself at that risk. And in my opinion, when you do that, like there's no going back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay, well, shit, you know, it's out there now. I gotta hustle to make sure that it all evolves and like it starts making money. And like that keeps me kind of motivated because there's no getting out of it. You know, so you'd have to almost
burn the ships. Like
you're burning the ships. It's like, shit, guys, we're here now. Like ain't no going backwards. Like,
No, and I think about that constantly too. You know, like I haven't been around as long as you, and you know, debt to income. You know, it's different numbers than you're dealing with, but still, it's like sometimes I sit there and look at everything. I'm like, okay, I owe this much on this truck. I owe this much in this lease that I've signed for a year. I owe this much on the credit card. All right, if everything went to crap today, I could probably get a new job tomorrow, and within a year, I could probably pay that debt back and still live my life. But at some point, not due in the distant future, that's not an option. And in my head, that's not really an option. But it's like I'm looking at the numbers and I'm like, okay, if things went south, how would I get out of this? But like Gene was saying, Gene's at a point now, if you guys stop getting work tomorrow, Gene's got to figure something else out because he can't go get a job that makes enough money to pay for all that stuff sitting outside. You could fire all the guys, you could, you know, but this lease, you're stuck. You know, the equipment, the trucks, all that. Somebody's going to expect the money. Yeah. So Gene's not going to go get a job, you know, working at Public Works to go pay for all this stuff. Like, that ain't going to happen. You'd have to make $500,000 a year to pay for all this stuff at least. Yep. So,
and, I mean, that's what that's the motivation there, right? Like, and in my opinion, that's why I like seeing growth every year because with that growth, you take on more risk and you hire more people and you help, you know, you kind of share the burden of covering that risk, but it's still there. You know, and that's just kind of been like the motivating factor for me because I've always put myself in that position. Okay, well, shit, we're going to grow this year, so let me go get this. And a lot of that too has just been playing the tax game, needing depreciable assets and shit like that.
Yeah. Gene makes too much money. That's what it boils down to.
Nah, man. I don't care what anybody says. It's like you gotta find a way to keep the money you make. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that was Trump's whole deal. Yeah. Trump just said straight out. He's like, look, it's y'all's fucking game. I'm just learning how to play by the rules. Yeah. You know, change the rules if you don't like the way I'm doing it.
Yeah. Hey, you see that thing on Instagram where it's like, oh, my taxes are due. Let me figure out how much I owe you. And then the IRS is like, oh, we know how much you owe me. Oh, you already know it, but you won't tell me what it is? Like, It's like that whole thing. Like, dude, the other day I go home, I get a freaking income tax thing in the mail for my tax return from last year. So it's like, okay, say that one time out loud. I paid you too much money, so you're giving me a return, and then you're taxing me on that money that you already taxed me on that I gave you too much of. Yeah. It's like, dude, that's what? Bullshit. Like, you know, but.
I thought it was funny. The IRS is going to hire all those new agents, spend all that money. Yeah. And, you know, small business owners, regular medium income people just get fucking destroyed by taxes, and yet the Pentagon can't come up with $7 million in their budget. They couldn't figure out where the fuck they spent it.
Well, I think it's like a whole shitload more than that, dude. I think they were like
it's $700 million or some shit.
Yeah, it's like $1 billion they can't account for.
But God forbid I'm fucking 2 weeks late on my shit.
Right.
Oh yeah, you come back to the shop and dude, I lost that receipt for $700. Okay, well, how many checks you want me to take it out of? You know, it's like, yeah. I don't. Rumor has it though they didn't get funding for hiring all those people. So
yeah, I heard that too.
So they got approved to hire them, but there's no money to pay them. So, but if you become an IRS agent, Slim Jim,
they'll just print more money.
That's true.
Yeah, no, I could never do that shit. Sit behind a desk and fucking look up stuff on a computer on who owes how much money, and that shit ain't for me. Yeah, could never do it.
Yeah.
So what is new with Mackenzie this week? What do we have going on?
Tell me, bud.
I got a whole lot of shit going on this week.
You're doing good. You're sending me work orders. That's cool.
Yeah, that's been the goal, man.
Yeah.
Send you one a day.
One a day.
I
Sell a job a day.
Yeah, I feel like, I came up with some numbers in my mind. And in the beginning, I was like, these are kind of unrealistic goals. But, like, going back to what we were talking about being uncomfortable, like, I wanted to set myself up for something that I got to really strive towards a number to hit. And surprisingly, this month I'm actually getting pretty fucking close to it. But yeah, it's been busy here. It's good, and spring hasn't kicked up yet, so
yeah, dude. I mean,
it's only gonna get busier.
We're getting busy, and it's middle of February, which is just fucking absurd to me, man. Like, I mean, I'm expecting shit to kind of slow down this year, maybe next year, just with like just like with the builders and everything. I think new housing starts are down something stupid like 70% or something.
Yeah.
So I was expecting it all to kind of do that, but I mean, so far we're working. I mean, I'm hoping to have another crew, like adding another crew this spring.
Man.
Well, it's starting to look like a used truck dealership out of there, so you got to do something with it.
Yeah, I know.
Got 2 new bucket trucks.
Yeah.
Plow trucks for sale.
Plow trucks for sale. I just need to start selling shit. That's the problem, man. You buy an old piece of shit truck, it's running. It ain't hurting nothing just sitting there.
Yeah.
It's better to have them just laying around in case you need it.
We talked about it yesterday with it. Do you have a boat?
I don't.
All right, me and Gene both have boats. And we're talking about boats. I said,
Why do you think I'm friends with you guys?
Yeah. I said, I think I'm going to fucking sell my boat. And Gene was like, why are you not using it? And I was like, man, I used it 2 times last year. And I live on a fucking island in the middle of the bay. And I used my boat 2 times last year. It's just, it's so hard with kids packing them up and getting them on the boat. It's a fucking process. But he was saying the same thing, like, it's not hurting anything sitting there. And I was like, yeah, that's the excuse I'm going to keep telling myself.
Yeah, unless
it costs like $50,000. It ain't hurting nothing.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. And it's amplified here. You got a lot of shit here.
Yeah, but everything here though can make money.
Yeah.
Boat ain't making you no money.
No, you lose money every time you take that thing out.
Yeah,
a lot of it.
It is. It's hard to, man. Like Carly will come out. We'll go to take the kids out on the boat, and I'm out there washing the boat, getting it all ready to pull off. Carly comes out carrying like all this shit. Yeah. I'm like, we're going fishing for like 2 hours, bro. Man. Like, what are we doing,
bro?
Like, she got like fucking coolers and snacks, and
no doubt,
sunscreen and towels and change of clothes. I'm like, geez, oh flip.
We had this discussion the other day. I went somewhere for the weekend for a day, Gene, a day, and I packed the truck up, her truck up, and it was filled. The entire back seat of it was filled. I was like, we're going somewhere for 24 hours. Yeah. I don't even want to go for 24 hours.
I'm not even taking a change of underwear for 24 hours.
Absolutely not.
Like, I'm just going to wake up and wear the same shit that I wore the day before.
Yeah, last time we went to Hawaii for 20 days, I brought a backpack. She had like 6 bags.
Well, to be fair, Jimmy, you probably didn't wear a shirt for 20 days.
No, I didn't. Well, the weather's a little nicer there.
Well, people don't tell you to put your shirt back on like Gene. Yeah. So people are taking pictures of you.
Well, dude, ever since I started this construction job, we talked about it last week, I'd been eating like shit for like the first like 3 weeks. I was getting a breakfast burrito every day at Chick-fil-A, just like absolutely eating like shit. And like, you know what, it is what it is. I'm on the road a lot. Like, I don't care.
Eat what you can when you can.
Yeah, I was like, I don't care. And then literally we made the comment about it in the podcast. I was like, man, maybe I am getting a little bit fluffy downstairs and in the belly region. Let me go clean this diet up. And then the next day on a post on Instagram, somebody's like, you've been working out for 536 days. Why aren't you ripped? I was like, you motherfucker.
Now you're all self-conscious.
Yeah,
and shit.
dude.
Like, God damn it.
I haven't had a breakfast burrito in 6 days.
I should just attach like a dumbbell to the back of my cell phone and just like get some bicep curls going down the road.
Yeah, I know. I saw how much he answered his phone. We rode together yesterday to go look at some jobs. He was kind of teaching me some of the stormwater stuff, which I want to get into later. So I had a lot of people ask me questions about that. So just riding with him yesterday, like, God, it couldn't have been more than an hour. He's just on the phone. Workers calling him, clients calling him, wife calling him. I mean, it's nonstop. The amount this man's on his phone.
Oh yeah, I don't even turn the radio up in my truck. I'll be running. Other people get in like, dude, you drive this long without the radio on? I'm like, I honestly didn't even realize it was off. Like, you're on the phone, you're thinking. It's like, next thing you know, you've been in the truck 2 hours and the radio's been off the whole time.
Yeah, well, actually, for me, when I'm driving, if I'm not on my phone, I'm like, all right, something's fucked up. Like, there's somebody I either got to call back, or like I got to call in a missed utility ticket, or I need to call the permit office, or I need to call, I got to call, see if this material's in yet. Like, there's always somebody I could be talking to.
Yeah.
And it just never fucking goes away, dude. And that's the thing, I don't have a fucking 40-hour a week job now. It's basically I'm just always working, or at least on call. Like I might go home at like 2:00 in the afternoon, be hanging out with Carly and the kids or whatever. But like if my phone rings at 4:30, I'm gonna answer it. You know what I'm saying? Like you just never get away from it.
I think in the last week I've texted you or talked to you at 3:45 in the morning or 4 a.m. and then all the way to 7 or 8 p.m. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't us just shooting the shit. It was something about work.
Yeah.
You know, and you always answer the phone or you're emailing me back. So your day is probably more like 16, 17 hours.
Right. But like you just kind of take your breaks as you can.
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay, well, we're doing this for an hour and then I'll go get lunch and then I got to go look at a job. Mm-hmm. Then I might go home, but then I'll get like a fucked up phone call or a truck will break down. Then I got to go, and then it's what it is. Like you just have to be available pretty much.
Did you talk to some of those guys who have been around for a while, like Johnny Castillo? Johnny's not even old in the grand scheme of things, but I was talking to him the other day, and I'm like, dude, how nice was it to build stuff before email, before cell phones, before, like, instant gratification of getting a hold of somebody? It was like, okay, I'll just show up tomorrow and see what material's not there, Yeah. Like, I'm calling the guys, hey, dude, did they bring 8 2x12s or 7? Because we need 8. Things you didn't have to worry about. And, next day, they just figured them out. How? I don't know, because we didn't live that life. But
in my opinion, the fucking cell phone has prevented people from being able to make decisions themselves.
100%.
There's nobody takes responsibility for shit. It used to be where if a dude was on a job and, like, say a track came off the fucking excavator, he's just standing there.
They're either fixing it or going home.
Yeah, right. Yep. He's just sitting there, like, looking at it like, fuck. Now they immediately, hey man, track's off.
Okay, what do you want me to do about it?
Okay, why don't you start working on that then, dude? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my bad. I didn't know you want me to fix it. Oh no, yeah, sorry.
So everything I feel like had to be more planned, and people had to make decisions and take responsibility for shit rather than just calling whoever is in charge of them.
Yeah.
I
feel like there was less people in charge too. There was less like chiefs back there, or everybody was a chief. It wasn't like, I got to call him and then you got to call him. It's like, dude, just figure it out.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, not a whole lot of that going on anymore.
Yeah, we'll never see that again.
No. I mean, well, and like, we have, like, our foremen do shit like that, but they don't do it without calling and talking about it first.
Yeah.
So, like, you got to have those conversations with them.
Yeah.
Which I hate to tell them not to call, because then I'll be like, well, why the fuck didn't you call me? You know, like.
But then it goes back to like what you were saying. You're driving on the road and your phone's not ringing. You're like, okay, something's wrong. Something I don't know about.
Yeah.
We're in that mindset too. We've trained ourselves that the phone's going to ring. Something's wrong.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just as guilty of it, dude. I mean, I haven't, my whole professional career, I've had a cell phone in my pocket.
Yeah.
I don't know it without it. You know?
I mean, dude, I think like the best time of my life, every year, me and my buddies go on an ATV trip to southern West Virginia, up in the mountains.
Hatfield McCoy?
Yeah.
Cool.
There's negative cell phone service. Like, dude, it's sucking stuff out of your phone.
Right.
And it's like, dude, my phone didn't ring for like 3 days.
Yeah.
It's like, at first you're like in fear, like anxiety of like, okay, what could be going wrong? And then you're like, you know what? Everything's fine. It takes 2-3 days to get used to it. But it's definitely weird, but it's nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah, I used to go on a same thing in West Virginia. Me and my couple guys I worked with had his uncle had a hunting property in West Virginia. No service, no cell phone service, no phone in the house. You had to drive the ATV to the top of the mountain to get service. So you'd go 5 days without your phone, and like you said, it's first the anxiety of not having it, like what's going wrong, and then you finally like ease into it, and you're like, oh, this is nice, and then right when you're hitting the road where you know you're about to get service again, you're like, fuck, here it comes.
Ding, 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 ding. Fucking email just blasting through your phone.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit harder to do that with kids now and a wife. Yeah. Leave them for that many days.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get away from it, though. Like, even if you take a week-long vacation, you have the iPad or your phone or whatever, and you're seeing these emails come through. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, well, even if you're on the boat fishing, and then you just glance at an email, and it's like, fuck. Like, even if you don't answer it, well, it's still in the back of your mind. Like, that's what you're thinking about now.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay, well, now it's got my attention.
Yeah.
And you just fucked up my day, you know?
That's what's cool about, building the right team, though, like we were talking about at the beginning, is like, now I feel like there's, the right people in the right places. And I'll get an email like that. I'll get one while we're sitting here, and I'll be like, let me give it a few minutes, see if the person that should be handling that handles it. And then they do, and you're like, all right, win. Like, okay. Like things Slim Jim should be doing. Let him do it. I'm really starting that
fucking nickname's going to stick.
I'm getting a vinyl cut for the back of the truck when I walk down here. But, you see him, a client's like, hey, when are you guys coming out? And you see him reply with a work order or something. It's like, all right, system worked. Like, I'm good. It eases the weight a little bit. But, you're always thinking about it until you see it's handled. So,
and I think you have to have people in place that want that satisfaction out of, like, for me, I want to send that email to Gene to say that I handled it. I want to send that work order to feel successful. I don't know. I've never had a boss where my performance really actually mattered. Like, when I was a cop, some guys went out there and didn't do a fucking thing for 12 hours, and they got treated the same as the guy who went and worked his ass off. But this is so much different. Like, when you send your boss a work order, like, there's a sense of pride behind it because you're like, I did something good for the company. He's going to be happy, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, well, it has to work that way. Yeah. Everybody's got their own responsibilities, and then that's what keeps the whole fucking thing running, Like, you have to sell work. The foreman's got to do the fucking work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then you got to bill them for the work. Then you got to get paid for the work.
And then I got to pay everybody. I got to pay the bills, and then worry about the maintenance.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their own deal.
Yeah.
Like, we're all on the same team. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the hardest thing is a lot of people feel like they're constantly fighting you because, like, I might be your supervisor or whatever. It's like, no, dude. Like, I want you to be successful just as much as I want everybody here to be successful, because the more, like, the easier your day is and the better you're doing, the smoother everything else is fucking going.
Yeah, no, I felt that from the jump from coming here, and that was kind of one of the things that I had in mind was coming, like, because I got a job offer to go to a bigger company, right? And this one of the things we talked about was I don't want to take that job, even though it might have been more money, more whatever at the time, better benefits, whatever it may be. I was like, I want to go work for my friend's company that I care about. I care about my friend. I care about his company. I care about him doing well. I know he's going to do the same for me. So it's even amplified more than what you're talking about before. Because it's like, for me, I want to make sales. I want to do well. I want to keep the company busy because my buddy gave me this job. I don't want to fuck up and let him down. Second off, like, I want to help build something bigger than what it is now. Yeah. And I think that's one of the cool things about being a small business. Yeah, you take a lot of risk, but also you have a lot of sense of pride in the people that work for you and more of a connection to that brand.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, like, with Crownstone too, we're both in a position where we expect growth. I feel like it's harder when you work for a small business. It's like a 3-man mom and pop shop, and there's no intention of doing anything more. Like, I can see where you would get burned out.
Yeah.
I'm not like that. I don't think, Chris, you're not at that point either, where, like, if you're like, hey man, I want to do this and let's approach it this way, and I think this will make us money here, and I'm like, okay, fuck yeah, man, let's roll with it. Like, let's see what happens. Like, I'm open to those ideas, and then the more we grow, and everybody's going to grow together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My grandfather used to say, high tide rises all boats. Mm-hmm. And you think about it like, that's pretty plain and simple. But, I had that recently with my guys where somebody we work with was like, hey, I think your guys are starting to slack off a little bit. Not they're bad guys, but they've gotten complacent. So I started giving them goals of, all right, I estimated the job for 8 hours for 2 guys to demo this bathroom. I tell the guys, hey, you need to be done in 6 hours because it takes you an hour to drive there, an hour to come back, so I'm paying for 8. Reality, I probably got 10, 12 hours in the estimate. But if I don't push them, I don't give them a goal, then they're just going to take the whole time. And right. I think most of the people that we surround ourselves with, the people that work here, the people we're friends with, people we hang out with, most people want to succeed and want to be measured. And you can't be measured if you don't tell people what they're being measured on. Right. And as far as, like, the growth thing, like, I always think of it like, you're swimming to a buoy in the water. I keep moving that buoy. Like, you're never going to reach that buoy because I'm going to keep moving it. But you don't know I'm moving it. You're just swimming to it. Just like your kid. Mm-hmm. If you're telling them, when they start walking, walk to me, you keep moving back and getting them to walk to you. They're just like, man, they don't think he's getting farther away. They're just like, I still need to get to him. Right. So it's kind of like the same thing. You got to give challenges to people. And honestly, if it's somebody that doesn't want to be challenged and doesn't want to be measured, do you want them to be here? Because just like the people on your team, at the end of the day, standing on that podium, you want to look around and be like, yep, all these people should be here.
Yeah, you don't want to gain resent towards somebody who's not pulling their own weight either, because that's another way to create a pretty toxic environment, I think.
For sure, man. And like I said, if that's a thought in your mind that somebody's not doing their job or doesn't give a shit anymore, or they might need to be fired or demoted, if you're having that thought, it needs to be done.
Yeah.
Dude, and demotions never work.
And I've done that. I've made those mistakes.
That's what he told me, pretty early on.
Yeah, it doesn't really work.
Yeah, you can't be like, hey, I'm going to take this away from you. I'm going to pay you less. Because then they're like, okay, well, he doesn't care about me.
Well, then they just come to work, and then they're constantly looking for another job.
Yeah. Well, and I think it was you and I talked about this a long time ago, probably even before I quit my former career of, like 2 weeks notice. Dude, if you walked in here right now and said, Chris, hey, man, this isn't really working out. All right, dude, I appreciate everything, let's catch up by the end of the day, and your last check will be in the mail. There's no point in me keeping you here 2 weeks, because by the time tomorrow comes, your head's already out of it, and your head's progressively going to get less and less into it, and all I'm doing is losing money. And unfortunately, at that point, if you've already told me you're off the team, it's just money at that point. Like, you're not necessarily a person to me anymore because you quit the team. It's like the SEAL training thing. You see all the time in all the movies. They ring the bell. Do you ring the bell? You're dead to them. That's sure. It.
Yeah. I have had. There's certain positions though that it's a lot harder to transition away from. Like now that salesman, right? Like, say Jimmy, hey dude, fuck you, I'm out of here. Turns off his cell phone, can't get a hold of him, whatever. Well, he's had a whole lot of conversations with potential customers and sent estimates that I may not have seen. I don't know what was discussed or whatever. It's like, well, shit, now I got to find a way to bridge that gap, like to take up where he left off. And that's difficult to do. Like, are you selling all the work now, or do you have somebody else helping?
No, I'm probably like 95% of the sales. But like what we've done is, because you're 100% correct, but there's a lot of processes you can kind of put in place. And as much as I hate being like a process robotic person, there are points where processes help. It's like we have like a project management tool that all our leads come in. We schedule all the work from. We schedule all the estimate meetings, send the estimates, invoice, everything all through the same system. And our girl that answers the phone, any communication she has with the customer, she puts in as a note. We started started doing a binder on all the jobs of started doing a binder on all the jobs that have everything that's going in your bathroom, the tub that's going in there, the tile that's going in there, the paint, vanity, all that stuff. And then there's a note section. So any of my guys are there, and the customer's like, hey, I told Chris I wanted to paint this wall this different color, but I think I changed my mind. The process is they write it down. So if they leave there and they're not coming back to that job tomorrow, it's a different crew or different guy doing a different task, or God forbid they get hit by a bus on the way home, the next person comes in and can pick up and keep going. Granted, it's not seamless, but it's something better.
It is something, yeah. Which I think, like for us, we have a process in place, but it's still, it's evolving.
Yeah, and the sales stuff's super personal.
It could always be easier. Yeah, for sure. Like, and that's what's hard too. Like, say Jimmy sells a tree job. Well, we send a crew out there to do it. I can't go out there and show that crew what to do because Gene hasn't talked to that customer. Yeah. Jimmy did. So it's like, I need you to go tell the crew to do exactly what you told the customer we were going to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know any other way of doing it.
No, there isn't really another way, because like the job we were talking about on Saturday, like there's like 6 specific limbs that need to be trimmed. Like I could write that in notes all day long to Manuel or send a picture. It's just not the same as me going there. And then I would have anxiety about it all day.
Right.
Like,
you can't muscle up your way in that tree and flag all 6 branches.
Dude, I tried climbing. It was brutal. I want to do it. Just a tree that I climbed. Gene sold this job with these 3 or 4 massive fucking trees. And
well, if Gene sold it, there's money in the job. So
Yeah.
No, they keep making fun of me on this.
Yeah. The guys are giving him shit because it was like probably a day. Could have been a day longer. But
he's putting that challenge out there. You got to get it done. This is all I got in it.
We don't normally have that problem with our guys. We have the opposite problem of like, hey, man, we told the customer it's going to be 3 days, and they're done in a day and a half. Because those motherfuckers, they're beast. They just work so damn quick and efficient.
Honestly, that's like the biggest struggle that I've had over the last year or two. You get all the right equipment, all the right trucks, and then you get the right guys together that have been working together for a while. They can go through. They can do some fucking work. And then it's like, okay, now I got to find the workload to keep them working all the time. That's when, so I would say the last 18 months, I still have my core guys in the field doing what they do, and I've been in the process of trying to get a good sales team together just to find enough work to keep them guys working 6 days a week. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, and I was talking to, Danny Hayden about it, and he was saying, same thing, he works by himself, but he's like, I'm only booked out 2 weeks at a time. For my stuff, they're longer duration jobs, and I need to plan further out. So, right now, I'm booked till July pretty much, which is very good for me. But, for you guys, you can't plan that far out. You guys have to deal with weather a lot more and stuff like that.
I like to be between 2 and 4 weeks out.
Yeah.
Which we're hitting right now.
Yeah, which we're doing that in February, so it should, that's a good thing.
Yeah, and for me, I feel that, on the sales end of it, I have that same expectation before we even talked about it. I was like, I want to tell people, hey, we're 3 weeks out. It's also a good selling point, too, because, people will sit around and just not call you back or hey, well, we'll get around to it kind of deal. Well, now I can say, and it's the truth, hey, if you don't book it now, you might not get it done till July. So if you plan on having a barbecue or something, your yard's going to look like shit if you don't pay for it now.
Well, and it's things, too, where, I'll be at a customer's house, and they're like, I got a price from this other guy. He said he can start next week. And it's like, look, if a guy's that free, he's probably not that good at what he does because there's not enough people calling him. And, that could sound arrogant, but it's like,
that's true.
If you do a good job, even like a barber, if you go to a good barber, they don't do walk-ins. They got their stuff scheduled out. If a guy shows up and I'll be here this afternoon, we'll start taking your tree down, bro. If you're free today, do you not have insurance? Do you not have trucks? Do you what's the deal?
That's what it is, dude. And it's hard for us to bid against that shit because I just lost a job where I had a verbal agreement and it was for a very reasonable price. I even gave him a reasonable price because he was a return customer kind of deal. And he hit me back and was like, hey, situation changed. Some guy undercut me by half. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. I can't even come close to that. So don't take long to start fucking stuff up. So call me when he fucks it up.
Yeah. Well, and it's I've just recently got to the mentality of because a year ago you're starting out and it's all right, I just need to get enough work, get our name out there, and then it's okay, I need to get enough work to keep all these guys busy. But now it's at the point where it's okay, I sit down and do an estimate, and I sit there and look at it, and I'm yeah, I'm good. And then I go home, and that night before I send it, I'm well, maybe if I cut a little bit out of this, cut a little bit out of that. Every time you cut something out of it to try to get the job, or any time a customer calls and they're hey, this guy was 50% lower, what can you do? Never wins. You're never going to do well on it. It's always going to be a problem. Every time I've done it, you go against your gut and you're going to get screwed. So it's look, people are calling me for a service. I'm going to provide that service. This is what I charge for that service. I'm sorry, but it is what it is.
Well, Chris, buddy, I got bad news for you, man.
What's up?
If you're scheduled out to fucking July, you need to hire another crew.
I know.
It's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem.
Still a problem.
It's still a problem. Yeah. You still got to deal with it.
Yeah.
But that would be my suggestion, dude.
Yeah.
Let's try to get another crew going in the spring.
Yeah. We're actually
because I got an email. You're talking 4 or 5 months out.
Oh, yeah.
You hire another crew, and then you're still 2 months out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But the hard part, too, is, good subcontractors. And that's been a big learning lesson over the last year and a half or so is, part of your squad are subs, too. Oh, yeah. I know you guys use subs a little bit, not as much as I do, but, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, those guys are licensed in what they do. I can't afford to carry a guy that just has an electrical license full time.
Right.
Not going to happen. But I need to find companies and people that have the same mindset that my company does and my culture and my brand and represent us well. You know, Danny Hayden. Dude, you tell somebody you're working with the Haydens, like you're in good hands in Calvert County. And
Well, there's like 1,000 of them.
yeah. But dude, if somebody came up to me and was like, "Oh, I talked to the Hayden and he's a liar," okay, dude, you're full of crap. Like nobody has anything bad to say about the Haydens. And you know, Danny, I can almost guarantee any job I send him on, customers going to call me when they're done and they're going to say, "Danny's the nicest guy ever and he did a great job."
Right.
That's the only phone call I want. You know, you don't want to have to. There's already enough stuff on your mind. You don't have to think about, oh man, is Danny going to cover the floor? Is he going to do this? I just know he's going to do it because his company's aligned with our company and we're all the same team. But it takes a long time to do that. And yeah, to your point, you know, I can go hire other guys, but if it's more than my subcontractors can keep up with, I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot. So it's got to be, you know, they have to rise with me kind of thing. But we are going to a job fair at Northern High School. I think it's in like 2 or 3 weeks, and trying to see if, you know, we can get some of these younger guys to stay in the county. You know, it's like
Ain't nobody want to fucking work.
Well, dude, like I got 2 20-year-old kids, and they're good kids. They show up on time, they work, and they do want to learn. They ask questions, but it doesn't seem like there's any options for them in the county. And nobody, dude, everybody drives on the road. You know how it is, dude. You can drive through. If you sat in Dunkirk at 5 o'clock in the morning, you would see so many lettered trucks and vans going through there. And then 2:30 in the afternoon, they're all coming back down. I mean, your brother runs up there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Steam fitter or whatever he does. And it's like, there's a lot of work in the county. There's a lot of companies here that people could work for, but it's like, you know, I called down to the Votech school and was like, hey, I'm looking for carpenters. Oh, we don't have anybody. Okay, what's up with that? Oh, I don't know. They're all going in the union. It's like the only option these kids have, and it's like, unless your parents are pushing you or there's something. And, dude, I had a kid at Jersey Mike's the other day, saw our new hats, and he's like, dude, that's a cool hat. What do you do? I was like, you can get one if you want to come work for me. He's like, all right, I'll send you my resume. Dude, damn if that kid didn't send me his resume that day. And I'm like, all right, well, I got his attention just because he liked our hats, which, whatever.
That happens to me a lot with my truck.
Yeah.
I'll be at, like in a parking lot or something, and then young boy come up to me and want to start bullshitting about my rims or, like, the bumpers on my truck or something. I'm like, yeah, man. Like I said, I got a couple of these motherfuckers, you know? And
got a Buick, too.
Got a Buick.
Yeah.
Jimmy's rocking the Buick.
Riding dirty.
Yeah, man. But no, we got a couple young boys that work for us that they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, we were out there messing with them yesterday.
Yeah.
Fucking Peyton, man. Showed me a video of him riding a bull.
No
Fucking
way.
wild. Yeah, so we're trying to talk Gene into – well, Gene's building a badass – I don't know how much I want to give away on here because I think that's going to be a surprise video coming up.
Yeah, man.
But we're going to be
riding.
riding –
about the area we were stripping the topsoil the other day?
We're
I've
gonna be
never
riding
seen that
bulls.
area before, but it looked familiar.
We just need Gene to buy a bull now.
Yeah.
Like a legit one.
The problem is Gene's son, dude, he'd get on that thing before anybody else. That dude's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
we were doing some work at Gene's house, and his son, what's his name, Cooper?
Cooper, yeah.
Yeah. Cooper's on his bike, dude, little, like, fire red hair, dude. Like, he comes up to you, and you're like, dude, this guy's business. And he set his bike down, and he hit my truck, and I was like, or no, he was riding next to my truck, and he bumped into my truck with his bike. And I was like, dude, you hit my truck? Just messing around with him. Dude, before I finished saying, did you hit my truck? He threw his bike down, threw it down on the ground, and stood up like he was ready to go. Like, puffed his chest out, and I was like, dude, you're like 3. Like, he was ready to go, dude. He was like, I'll go down swinging.
That's awesome. Yeah, first time at Cooper, he was on the ground in cowboy boots, just digging holes in the dirt, slinging mud everywhere. Fucking wild, man.
Dude, you're going to need all these extra trucks when he comes work for you because there's going to be a whole lot of broke stuff.
Yeah. I tell Carly all the time, I'm like, man, Cooper ain't got to go to school. You're going to tell that teaching lady I'm going to drive a fucking dump truck. Slamming gears and slamming beers, baby.
Oh,
No doubt.
You're going to be putting new trans in that truck before you know what's going on.
Yep.
Yeah, he probably learned more just hanging out the yard than he did in school. And I mean, I didn't learn a fucking thing in school.
Yeah.
Only reason I went to school was because we had to play football and to chase tail. That's it.
Yeah.
If there wasn't, like, if I went to an all-boys school, I wouldn't have gone to school. I wouldn't have a high school diploma. No doubt. And now I feel like it's getting worse. Like, what do they do in school all day? What'd you do in school all day?
Oh, I don't know, man. I actually did pretty well in school.
Ah, fuck.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Dude, I hate it.
I did like AP classes and shit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. You were pretty smart.
We lived together in college.
I know, but I don't know what the fuck you did.
So, like, Jimmy and my brother and myself, we all lived together in the same house. I'd be, like, going to class, walking home. Hey, what are y'all doing? Oh, nothing, man. I'm like, you don't have to go to campus at all today? Nope. So I'm like, all right.
We went to eat.
Dude, for me, college was like, dude, I just got to check that box to get this receipt saying I did all this, and then I can go on with my life. You know, and
college for me was a very, very expensive party.
Yeah.
And then they asked me to take a break.
Yeah, I didn't really party a whole lot, but they pretty much said, like, hey, you got to get a 2.5 every semester. We're not going to. When I applied, they had me come in for an interview, and I was like, you got to go to an interview for college? So I go in there, and they're like, okay, your SAT scores say you're, like, really smart. Your grades say you're not. What gives? And I'm like, oh, I just hate school. And they were like, okay, but you're smart. And I'm like, no, 100%. I'm smart, but I just don't like going to school. So I had to get a 2.5 every semester. So
I just don't like what you're teaching.
Yeah.
Dude, I just don't learn like that. I'm a doer, man. I'm not. I can't just sit around and listen.
Which I think that's part of the fucking problem, dude. Young, especially young boys, right? Like, school makes it seem like there's no other fucking option.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Our society does. Everybody's got to go to college or you're an idiot.
It's also not.
You and I could, all three of us could sit here and do everything we're doing today without going to college.
Oh, for sure.
And it was just, like I said, it was a box that checked that, you know, if we didn't go to college, we would be a little behind just because nobody gave us the opportunities to learn what we have at this point in our life.
Yeah, college for me and school in general was just a complete waste of time. Like prior to this, when I was a police officer, I don't need school for that. I didn't need school for this. I mean, I've learned more in 2 weeks. You can't teach me this shit in school. Yeah. And then also, I feel like it's not a good environment for young men in general, and it's only getting worse. Like it's getting so, for lack of better terms, it's getting so pussified and just academia. Yeah. Like, first of all, you got these boys in this box. You can't keep boys in a box for 8 hours a day. Like, they need to be outside breaking shit and smashing things and digging holes. Because I do that with my son. When he starts acting a fool, I take him outside, and everything is completely fine after that. He's completely peaceful, and he can be out there ripping apart a fucking tree or digging a hole or throwing rocks or something, and he's happy. Yep. And I feel like putting kids in a box for 8 hours, teach them shit they don't care about. I don't know. Yeah. It's just me.
I mean, I think it's kids in general, you know, like just being inside. And I don't have kids yet, but, you know, a good friend of mine, his little boy, they send him this thing, it's called mud bugs in the county. And, like, no matter what the weather is, no matter what, they got little rain suits, like full slicks and everything. And kids go play in the mud. They go learn about trees and worms and playing all that stuff, like, be outside. I mean, that's what we did when we were kids, and you know,
dude, that's another crazy thing. Is like I remember, like, what'd you do as a kid? You played in the woods. Like you went outside in the woods and played until it was dark, and you came home and ate. Like,
dude, I had more stick guns than anything else. You know, it's like
I don't know if kids do that anymore. I feel like they're playing video games or.
I'm sure me and Ben used to tie each other to trees, and then like just leave each other there, go home. Like my mom would be like, "Where's your brother?"
Yeah.
Tied him to a tree.
Dude, yeah. And I mean, I remember getting together with my cousins and like all the boys would go outside and give it 5 minutes and we'd just be beating the shit out of each other in 5 minutes. I hope I have another son because I want to watch them beat the shit out of each other. Yeah. It's entertaining.
Play Smear the Queer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you know, that part of that whole culture thing or the reason why that's not happening anymore, it's on young parents like us to change that.
No doubt.
Like, look, dude. Go the fuck outside. Don't come in for 2 hours. Mm-hmm. Don't care what you do. Just got to stay outside.
Yeah, like, it's definitely on the parents, 100%. And that's like one thing I brought back with Steph, where I thought I didn't want to have more than 2 kids. And then you look at the culture of America and the way that it's going, and just like the pussification of man, like in this country. Like it's not okay to be a manly man. Like you're called toxic masculinity and shit. Yeah. And it's because those parents of those kids created that thing from this generation now. Like the one thing you can control is everything that's in your house. So I feel like almost like guys like us, it's kind of like on us to bring up the next set of men to
100%.
kind of bring it back. So it's kind of
cool.
Our
responsibility.
Yeah, it's cool to think about. You have that option to like put a good man in the world, an actual man, compared to what's out there now. Yeah. Just lacking that.
No, it's. I mean, I even think about it, you know. I'm sure Gene does, and I at least work every Saturday probably till noon. I work like a half day Saturday. Usually Saturday afternoon, Sundays I stay home. But my girlfriend would be like, "What are you gonna do when we have kids? You gonna go work on Saturday?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like that's how I grew up. My dad doing it, my mom doing it.
Kids, I'm gonna start working Sunday too because I gotta make
afford
money.
it. Right?
Yeah, I gotta afford it.
But like to me, it's proof of like you want something in life. You want this house. You want this truck. You want this vacation. Whatever you want to go out to dinner. Whatever you want to do, you got to work for it. And I remember being a little kid, and my mom was like, "Do you want it or need it?" Yeah. And if we wanted it, she was like, "You got to make 50% of whatever it costs. Whether it was a car, whether it was a skimboard at the beach, whatever. You make 50%, I'll come up with the other half." And you start thinking about like, dang, do I really want to work that much to get something? And then it's like, I don't need that. I'm good. And, a couple of days ago, my mom be, "Hey, where are you at on the 50? Nah, Mom, I'm good. I don't need it." Did you know how much stuff and money you end up not getting just because you, rather than want all the time, you're thinking about, do I actually need it?
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
Right. So when are you going to pump out a couple kids, man?
Probably before too long. I'm getting old, so got to get going. But,
how old are you now?
I just turned 34, so I'm, I got some time. But probably before too long. I gotta make my part of society. So
yeah, I mean, it's up to guys like you, man, to produce like regular blue collar, straight white men.
Yeah,
dude.
I mean, fuck, we're a dying breed, bro.
Dude, a big dying breed, and you're not allowed to be proud of it either.
Right.
It's crazy, man. It is absolutely crazy what's happening.
Yeah, my girlfriend's sister, she lucked out and had boy-girl twins, so I'm kind of hoping like if I can get a boy-girl twin, like I'm good.
But twins, bro, fuck that.
Working Sunday, remember? Like
dude. Having two kids crying at opposite times, that sounds miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't know, I've never done it. But like you do the whole shitty stage at like 2 concurrent years. It's not like you finished, like, if your kids are 2 years apart, you get one, like, walking, potty trained, good to go, and then it's like, oh, let me run it back and do it over again.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather just hate life for, 3 years.
And that's good in theory until you go to a Mexican restaurant and have a little too many margaritas, and then the third comes along, and you're like, shit, I just went through double, and now the third's on the way.
Yeah.
You got one coming?
No, not yet. She's pressing for it. I can tell when my wife is ovulating because she's nice to me.
She likes you.
Yeah, she's real nice to me. It's the only time she's nice to me, and it's not because she wants another kid. Yeah. It's not because not because I'm actually attractive that day. No. She just wants another kid.
Yeah, especially your 7-Eleven body you're getting over here. So.
No doubt.
You're starting to look like a fucking taquito over there.
Yeah, dude, she's been real nice to me lately.
Gene's probably going to have to have more soon. He's got more horses than he's got people over there now.
No doubt.
So we're at that point that, like, our kids are about the same age. Mm-hmm. I'm out of the diaper stage. I'm out of the formula stage. Kids are fucking sleeping in their own beds. Like, we're through that shit. We've done that for 5 years now. And it's like, man, fuck, do I really want to start over with another one? But
I've never heard anybody say, I had too many kids.
No, like nobody regrets it.
I've always heard people say, I wish I would have had more. I never hear them say, I wish I didn't have that many.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like I'm looking forward to my son growing up because I know you had that relationship with your dad. You and your dad did a lot of cool shit together. I can't wait to take my son hunting, golfing, fishing. You got a built-in best friend.
Yeah, for sure.
They can't say no.
Plus, it's like an excuse. It's like, hey, man, so like talking to your wife, but hey, I'm going to take Cooper golfing this weekend.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yep, exactly.
And she can't get mad because you're doing it with your kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and your kid can't say no. So if you want to hunt on opening day and your buddies don't want to go, son, you're coming, and you can't say no.
Dress warm.
It's like a built-in best friend that can't tell you no.
But you got to pay for fucking everything.
Yeah, that's true. Kids aren't as expensive as I thought. Like, no. I thought they were going to be way more. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's an adjustment, but fucking daycare costs the most. The rest of the shit, you just kind of figure it out.
I mean, honestly, outside of finding, like, the right girl, it's like, that's what's been holding me up. It's like, dude, starting a business, everything. It's like, can I afford kids? But everybody I talk to about it, most that are business owners are like, dude, you're just going to figure it out, just like you did with business. It's like, I got payroll coming this Friday, and it's like, all right, am I going to make it? Yeah, I got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, whether I'm going to go borrow that money from somebody, steal it, take it for myself, whatever, I'm going to figure it out, just like with kids,
Yeah.
You got to figure it out.
Everything with kids, dude. Everything with kids, like, when I had my first kid, I had never changed a diaper before. And I was nervous, like, oh man, is it like, am I going to be able to figure this shit out? Like my parents, my grandparents, they all had it all figured out before they got and had kids. Nobody had that shit figured out.
Yeah.
Absolutely none of them. You figure that shit out as you go. Kind of like being a business owner.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, like our dads might have done a little bit of it, but like our grandparents didn't do any fucking diapers.
Nah.
Like that, the whole role of the fucking man in the house is fucking changed a lot too. Like I'm doing bath time, bedtime, diapers, all that shit. You go talk to my grandfather, see if he ever did fucking bath time.
No shot.
No shot. Like not even a fucking question.
Yeah.
Don't even ask me. Like,
Bro, I hate bath time.
yeah.
Dude, I think that's what I'm jacked up at. Like, I gotta.
Jimmy's over there just, man, fuck bath.
Dude, it was on Monday, and she was like, "Well, what part do you want to do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that." I was like, and I literally said, "Well, I just want to sit on my ass right now, but I know that's not going to go over well." She's like, "You got bath time." I was like, "Motherfucker, man."
Dude, I got a godson, my best friend's son. He's getting ready to. He'll be like 4 in March, I think. And I was talking to my buddy the other night. Dude, he texted me at like 11 o'clock. I was like, "Dude, I get up at 5 o'clock. I'm asleep at 11. Don't text me at 11 o'clock." He's like, "Oh, I was just, eating dinner." I'm like, "Eating dinner?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, I get home."
What is it, fucking New Year's?
Yeah. He's like, no, but he's like, you get home at 5:30, 6 o'clock. Then you got dinner, clean the kid up. Then you got bath time. And I'm like, dude, how long is bath time? He's like, oh, dude, all in, we're like over an hour. I'm like, no, dude, this is like, I'm taking you outside a garden hose, holding you by your head, hosing you. Like, I'm in bed at 9 o'clock, dude. I'm not staying up till 11.
Yeah.
He's like, well, then you got to clean up bath time. You got to put all the toys away. I'm like, whoa.
You just got to start early.
And then you got to read a book. And I'm like, dude.
And that's fine. I go to bed at 9 o'clock, but that process starts at 6:30.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to bed at 9 o'clock because I'm waking up at 3:30, 3:45, working out, and then coming and working all day. It's got to get done before that.
Yo, for sure.
And then we all babysit all day anyway.
And then you don't get if you don't do it early, what I found is you don't have any time with your wife. That time that's built in that you had before, like, me and my wife used to watch TV together for an hour or two before we went to bed, relax, enjoy each other. Like, I was happy when my kids fell asleep this weekend when I was driving in the car just so I could talk to my fucking wife for the first time in a year. We were talking about it yesterday. It is not, those kids are nonstop talking, man.
Toddlers talk a lot, dude.
They got a lot of shit to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Fucking real world struggle, buddy. It is what it is.
Yeah. It's fun, though.
Yeah. I don't regret having kids. I'd have more kids.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Like you said, nobody regrets having kids.
Yeah.
Just fucking do it, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, you got all those extra stalls now. You can put some of them out there.
Yeah, they sleep in the barn.
Yeah.
I'm going to start sending them some of mine over there.
Dude, if you went home and told Cooper, hey, man, we're going to sleep in the barn, he'd be more excited than anything you've ever been excited.
Yeah. No, he'd
move out there tonight.
I mean, my horse barn's pretty nice. Like, when it's, like, good weather outside, definitely go out there and, like, sleep on a cot. Yeah. I'd have to get hammered drunk, but kids would have fun.
He wouldn't. He'd sleep out there tonight, dude. He'd be good to go.
I need to get over there and ride a horse. I've never ridden a horse before.
Oh, we can make that happen.
Yeah, definitely want to make that happen. I don't know what's going to come first, the bull or the horse, though. I feel like the bull.
I feel like if you start with a bull, a horse would be pretty easy.
Yeah, it'd be pretty good content too.
Yeah,
getting just thrashed by a bull.
I think you need to get some Clydesdales or something. Like you're my size horses.
When I'm fucking shirtless riding a horse, chugging Budweisers, everybody says, "Oh, gee, put a shirt on." Jimmy's going to come do it. Everybody's like, "Oh, man, look at Jimmy riding a horse with no shirt on."
Dude,
they're going to want you to ride with nothing on, just a cowboy hat.
Yeah, I know.
You're going to be on OnlyFans.
Yeah, like, dude, hey.
The horse guy.
We were talking about it in here the other day, bro. Let me tell you what. I would 1,000% start an OnlyFans. My wife was like, "No, you're not doing it, blah, blah." I was just joking around. She's like, "You can't do that." I was like, "What are you talking about? People are paying $5,000-$6,000 a month to these guys just to do certain things."
Dude, I looked it up the other day just because I was talking to somebody about it. I got to look it up. The amount of money spent on OnlyFans every day.
Which I don't understand, because why would you spend – I'm not spending $5 on porn.
No, I wouldn't spend a fucking cent on porn.
Free.
Yeah.
These kids are like, who's running these kids' credit cards?
Who told you had to pay for that?
Dumbass. Shit's crazy, man. It's like, do their parents not check their bank accounts or anything?
Yeah, That's a good question.
I mean,
have no idea.
How does it show up?
I don't even know. How does OnlyFans work? Is it a fucking app?
I think it's like a subscription base. So like you go on there and
It's just on the internet.
Yeah, so like you find a girl like on Instagram you like, and then you go in and I don't know if there's an app or a website, and then you subscribe to it, and she'll just post pictures, and you can see like the unedited version of it, I guess. Like I said, I've never paid for it, but I would imagine that there would be a credit card statement that would say like OnlyFans charge or something. Like somebody's got to catch on to that shit, right? Unless you're like a bachelor by yourself.
Right. I would assume so.
And in that case, why are you paying for porn?
Dude, so it said $380 million was spent on OnlyFans in 2020.
That's crazy.
So if you did $380 million divided by 365 days in a year, that's $1.04 million a year. A day, sorry.
$1 million a day.
$1 million a day.
That's crazy.
That's like just under my revenue for last year.
That's there's money to be made out there, bro. Just gotta be willing to
spread your cheeks.
Just get naked and fucking bend over, man.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you,
we got these GoPros ready to go.
Yeah.
Chris. Look at this fucking room. You can have this whole room.
Dude. Yeah, I'm good. Not my speed.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like an OnlyFans for like farmers only for Eugene. You can get
Oh yeah.
Well, there's got
They
to be
want
some shit
jeans.
out there like that.
Just a bush can and a cowboy hat.
definitely.
Hey, I mean, yeah. There's a reason there's not a fucking market for overweight white guys.
Well,
You know,
Dude, Wayne asked me the other day.
we're
He
a
said,
dime a dozen, buddy.
He said, "Does Gene have legs?" I said, "What do you mean does Gene have legs?" He said, "I've never seen Gene in shorts. Have you?" And I was like, "You know what? Gene might not have legs." So
I've seen him in
Wayne might
shorts.
be willing to pay to see if you have legs.
You know,
So,
that's funny because that's a Tony Soprano quote. You remember when it was like the first season of The
Yeah.
Sopranos? Tony wore fucking shorts to a barbecue, and his Uncle Junior went up to him and said, "You know, a boss never fucking wears shorts."
Damn.
And that fucking stuck with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I wear
Damn.
shorts around the house and shit, but I usually if I'm getting ready for fucking work, I got on fucking pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to come in some basketball shorts. That'd be nice.
dude, I was laying on the couch the other day in jeans, and she's like, "Why don't you get in something more comfortable?" I'm like, "I'm comfortable in jeans.
Oh, yeah,
I like my jeans."
I got a pair of fucking Under Armour sweatshorts.
Oh,
Dude, so fucking comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're just lounging around the house or whatever.
yeah. The second I get home, my work
Yeah.
pants go off.
Yeah.
But now they got really comfortable ones. Like I did buy some Carhartt stuff when I first started, but the Wrangler ATGs are the shit, dude. Those pants are awesome. They're nicer than my Sika pants.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm all about the Wranglers.
Yeah, they're great.
I started buying Origin jeans. They're made in Maine, so the cotton's like picked in
Jocko's company.
South Carolina, and then they like weave the denim in North Carolina, and then they make the jeans in Maine. So they're
It's all American.
all
made.
U.S. made.
Yeah, they
Which is
reached.
pretty cool.
They reached
They're
out to me.
super comfortable.
They reached out to me a while ago. His supplement company trying to sponsor me. Oh, this has got to be a year ago, I think. I ended up turning them down, but just because the energy drink. Have you had the Jocko Fuel yet?
I tried it once, and
I think
like
it tastes like shit, and that was that was my biggest issue. I was like, dude, I can't promote something that I think tastes like shit.
yeah,
Right.
No way.
Yeah.
but it's all made in the U.S., so that's worth something.
Maybe
Well, that's
why.
what we got to get on is the promotion for this podcast and just the YouTube channel and shit. I'd like to try to get a promotion with like Fecon or Caterpillar or Milwaukee or somebody like that. That'd be fucking cool.
Yeah, it's crazy how it works, man. I didn't realize how much, like, I mean, I guess I cringe in saying it, but I guess you can say I'm somewhat of an influencer on social media at this point now for fitness. But like Reebok just sent me free pairs of shoes, man, like $150 shoes for like a couple posts. Like
Right.
I can get pretty much any fitness thing that I want. But for me, there's a line between like what I will do and what I won't do, promote on my page. And I try to keep it like the amount super small. So it's like, it's authentic. You know what I mean? Like, cause I don't wear 18 different pairs of shoes. I'm not going to come on here one week and tell you this is the best shoe and then come on here the next week and tell you this is the best shoe. Like
Right.
when I got sponsored by a supplement company, it was one that I was already using and one that I like, I guess, align with their corporate level thinking and everything. So for me, it's like, you got to be like very strategic about which brands you choose to work with. But for us, like it makes sense with like Still or cat or something like that, because it's things we already use every single day. Yep. I just got to get better at the video editing, and maybe we'll figure it out. I've been doing better with it, but it's a lot. It's a lot to edit.
Yeah. You gotta. There's a couple of those guys on Facebook do videos down in North Carolina or something. Buy all these old tractor trailers and fix them up and everything. Drag them out of the woods. That's like more up your alley. Is just bustedtrucks.com or something. That's it.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Appreciate the support, Chris.
Yeah, I got you, dude.
Yeah, it is nice being at a company where Gene will give you the tools you need to do the social media stuff, to do the video editing, and then it's just kind of on you to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because people charge a lot of money to run your social media, to run your YouTube, to do all this stuff. But you can kind of learn how to do it on your own.
Yeah.
If you're willing to do it, you can learn how to do it on your own. And I feel like I learned a little bit at a time of it, and I'm still learning some of it. But for me, it was like, I want to make myself more marketable to come work for Gene. Because, let's be honest, I was very underqualified when you gave me the position. And I think one of the things in my favor was, hey, I can help out with this, I can help out with that.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, if you can do more stuff for him, you make him more money, you're worth more money, you get paid more money. It's better for everybody.
Yeah. And that's when I'm here, I try to make myself as marketable as possible to the boss. You know what I mean? What do you need help with? How can I do this? Can I start bidding this kind of thing? Can I start bidding that kind of thing? Because if you got to be a useful member of the team.
Yeah. I've learned more about social media and YouTube and everything in the last year than I ever thought I would know. And dude, you got to check these guys out on YouTube or Instagram. It's American Pavement. They're up in Connecticut.
I started following them because I saw you shout them out on something. And then I was like, I just clicked on their shit.
Dude, you start watching their videos.
Dude, killing it.
Their music and their videos is on point, dude. And next thing you know, you're sitting there and Caroline was cooking the other day and I'm watching the video and she's I look over and she's dancing to the music and I'm damn, they got her. Dude, it was 30 minutes later and all I'm doing is watching these dudes pave. And I'm I helped Matt Hayden on
this. They drew you in.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I helped Matt Hayden pave on a Saturday and I'm dude, this job sucks, dude. This is not fun. This is hot, heavy, stinky. Dude, this is not. Dude, those guys, you're man, I'll go pave tomorrow. Dude, those guys clean their truck. We started washing our trucks every week. We wash all our trucks every week because of those guys, dude.
Hey,
he's getting.
Keep it down.
We wash.
I don't want Gene expecting more shit around here,
dude. That guy's got a full-time detailing guy in his shop. Details the pavers, the milling machines, the trucks, all that kind of stuff, and dude, you see those guys roll up and you're damn, they're but dude, to your point, they got a free skid loader from John Deere. They got a sponsored by WorkGen, the milling machine company.
Yep.
Hey, here's $150,000 skid loader. Put it on your fucking YouTube channel.
And it's marketing because you know how marketing works. You understand how much it costs. I just got off the phone with Google for an hour, and that shit is not cheap, dude. And then at a mass level, if I have 50,000 followers, that 50,000 people are seeing my post, right? Let's just say projected maybe 25 to 50% of that. But still, let's say you're saying 25,000 people are going to see this post. Look at how much it costs you as a business owner on Instagram to make a post that 25,000 people are going to see.
Yep.
It's quadruple.
Well, what we should do is you cut this down. We're going to shout out American Pavement, throw it up on their fucking channel, and then hopefully we get something from them.
Yeah.
Dude.
So
I mean, when I tagged them the other day, we were washing the trucks. Dude, they replied, and I'm that's pretty cool. I mean, there's probably a ton of dudes messaging them,
right.
And they replied to mine. They just replied with this thing, and I was whatever. Yeah. It's better than nothing. Yeah. They know I'm here. You know, and
it is cool when you get a response from somebody on social media that you wouldn't expect to respond to. It is cool, and then you got to remind yourself that's just another dude. You know what I mean? He got famous, but he's just a dude like we are.
Oh, yeah.
I message people.
You're a celebrity. Us guys, we're nobody.
Yeah, we're not influencers.
Dude, I try to message people back as I make it a daily thing to go through and answer people's messages on there because I guess maybe it means something to them. Most of the time.
I used to ask you questions on Instagram and shit.
Yeah.
And then you answered. I mean, obviously we knew each other beforehand, but you responded to everything.
Yeah. I try to respond to people as much as I can.
Yeah.
Just because they're taking the time to watch your shit too, or you don't know. For my thing in particular, fitness, they're probably on some kind of journey. whether it's like mental or physical. So try to be as supportive as you can.
Yeah.
To them, but yeah, we need to get on the.
Maybe we'll end on that fucking gay note right there.
Yeah.
Dude, check out American Pavement. No joke.
That's very nice of you, Slim Jim.
So you dude is catching on. We're gonna have it on the back of the Buick. I'm gonna get a sticker. I swear.
Dude, fuck that Buick, man.
Slim Jim, they have like a Macho Man Randy Savage.
If I get a Slim Jim vinyl, I better get a fucking Ram, dude.
Dude, you should get it wrapped like yellow and red, like with a tear off on the top. Like, dude, that'd be sick.
All right, boys. Well, I appreciate y'all coming and doing this.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're gonna stick with it.
Go check out American Pavement /
American
McKenzie Contracting.
Yeah. Slim Jim, this is your job now. Fucking cut this, put it on Instagram, tag American Pavement.
Dude, I'm telling you, you're going to watch an hour and a half of paving and you're going to be like, oh, God. Dude, I'm stuck, dude. Like, you get far in it. I'm telling you.
All right, guys, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Give a comment. Let us know who you want to hear from, what the fuck you want to hear about, because we're just swinging it right now. So let us know what you want to hear, and we'll try to do our best to respond. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.